With the release of WoW Dragonflight, we've seen some pretty big changes to the PvP gearing system. Leveling up PvP gear has changed, we've got a new system with PvP tier sets, and we've got a whole new currency such as the bloody tokens. So whether you're just getting into PvP in Dragonflight and you want an up-to-date guide of what things have changed, or you're completely new to PvP and want a full understanding of how it all works, this PvP gearing guide video should lay everything out for you. So let's get straight into it. When we talk about PvP gear, we're talking about gear that is a normal item level and then changes to a PvP higher item level for battlegrounds and arenas. There's around 4 or 5 different types of PvP gear in Dragonflight, and I want to talk about how to get them all, what they do, which one's best, and your steps to getting them and progressing as a PvPer. So when we break it down, I'll go from the lowest to the best. The first thing we have is crafted gear, and this is PvP eye level 398. Next up is honor gear, coming in at eye level 411. And then the Drakebreaker gear is our new open world gear, which I'll talk about later. And that's 408, but can be upgraded to 421 with a set bonus. There's unique crafted gear at 424. And then finally, the Conquest Gear at 424. So first step is the tradable crafted gear. You don't need crafted gear, but if you're a fresh level 70 with leveling gear, the arena is going to kick your ass. So unless you want to do BGs and hang back, I'd really suggest grabbing a few pieces. I'd say grab a couple if they're cheap for an eye level boost, and grab the Crimson Combatant's Medallion if it's cheap, because this trinket will get you out of everything imaginable, all the stuns. It's so useful. So all of this is available on the auction house, so you don't have to worry about work orders. If it's cheap on your server or you can get someone to craft it, it's definitely worth grabbing a couple, but it's not mandatory. Then there's unique crafted gear. This is not as easily available. It's bind on pickup, so it needs to be crafted by a work order, and it requires a spark of ingenuity, which are pretty rare. I don't think this gear is needed, but if you only play PvP on a character and you don't want to save your sparks for PvE stuff, it's a huge eye level boost, so definitely worth getting. I don't think the average person will be getting this gear because it's really, really up there. Okay, then we've got honor gear. Honor gear coming in at eye level 411. Honor has no cap, so it can be grinded forever. You can grind honor all day and have a full set by the end of the day. The crafted gear is like a cheeky head start, but the honor gear is what I would say like your true base. Everyone that you go into in arena on ranked arena, you would expect to have honor gear. And if you want a solo queue, you need an eye level of 408, so you're not going to get there with crafted gear. One really interesting thing that Dragonflight done is you can't upgrade your honor gear. So before, you would upgrade your honor gear from level 1, and every time you upgrade it, you would get a bonus to your PvP eye level. Now they've changed it so that you can upgrade your open world gear level. So this is confusing. So say it starts at 350 and it comes in at 400. The upgrade would increase the 350 part, not the PvP 400 part. So unless you're doing open world PvP, there's not much reason, and as most PvPers I don't think are going to be upgrading their honor gear unless they change this or it comes in at a later date as the season progresses. So for now, just worry about spending honor gear on individual pieces, not the should I upgrade it or should I buy new. Just always buy new, and then as we go down the season and maybe you can upgrade this, that's when you can start spending your honor and it'll stack up really fast. And then Conquest Gear, this is the big leagues, eye level 424, and the greatest PvP gear of all usually. But the Conquest is both harder to get and time gated. There's an initial Conquest cap for Season 1, the release, and then you can earn an extra 550 Conquest each additional week the season is out. And it doesn't matter if you play every single week or if you just save this and come back later, because the cap will be the same. So if you're playing it every week, you can get 550 a week and keep hitting the cap, or you can just leave for a month, come back and just catch up, just do a big long grind and catch it all back up. And then finally, we have the Drakebreaker Gear. This some people call this the open world gear set, and this comes in 2 parts. An initial eye level 408 from the bloody tokens, which can be upgraded to eye level 421 from upgrading this. Kind of on the fence with how I feel about this gear, but it's here, so let's talk about it. This comes from beating people in the open world with war mode on for bloody tokens. Obviously, the problem with the open world is it's usually very one-sided, and it'll be hordes of one killing the other. Yeah, and then the tokens of strife come from a weekly quest in the gladiators room, and you can earn a cap of 8 tokens per week currently. So you can pretty much basically upgrade one of these bloody token pieces a week and get them up to a 420 plus gear, which is really, really good. But it's if you want to turn war mode on and go out there and do all this stuff. It's not for everyone. Some people just like to queue arena. And that's all the gear. That's all the gear in Dragonflight so far. But that could be a little bit much, a lot to think about. So what's the best way to gear up? What should be like your progress, your track to get gear so that you can start dominating people in arena and BGs and just be some Chad? Okay, the first thing you want to do is take the 3 quests from the Gladiators Arena area each week in WoW Dragon. These give Conquest, Honor, and the Drakebreaker Gear. You can go get some base crafted gear. I personally would just go grab the trinket as a starting point and maybe like a ring or something else for a little bit of verse. But it's up to you if you want to do this or not. If you want to go really hard, you can go put a work order in and use your sparks for a really, really good PvP piece, but none of this is necessary, but you can start there. If not, or if you do, still you want to grind Honor. You can grind a full set of 411 PvP gear in a day. No memes. You can sit there and grind. There's no cap, and as long as no cap. Yeah, there's no cap on Honor. Now, once you've done this, you're into the time-gated part of the PvP grind. Each week, you've got 3 things you can do to progress your PvP gear. The Great Vault. This drops tier set level gear up to the Conquest eye level, so doing rated PvP will unlock options in your Great Vault. The higher your rating, the better the piece of gear you'll be offered. So it's worth finding a 2s, a 3s, or a going solo and grinding your PvP rank each week. Next, it's down to Conquest. Grind your Conquest to the cap each week. The first time each day that you complete an arena or a BG, you get a big boost of Conquest, and then you get Conquest from each additional game you win afterwards. Once you hit the cap each week, you get an additional 550 that you can get, and it comes through really fast. If you're queuing back-to-back arenas, it comes through insanely fast. If you're doing the odd BG a day, you'll also cap fairly fast. So definitely grind your Conquest. Then, the open world grind. Love it or hate it, this is now in the game. You can grind bloody tokens from the open world PvP to buy the beginner Drakebreaker set. Even though it's kind of weak, you can still grind it. And then you grind the tokens of strife to upgrade it, and this is by no means weak. So even if you don't like open world PvP, it might be worth doing it. I personally am not a huge fan. It normally feels like a bit of a Zerg fest, one-sided Zerg fest, so I'm not much into it, but I do travel around with war mode on for the bonuses, so it is worth having. The quest in WoW Dragon asks you to go and fetch 100 sparks of life. On release, this was 200. But they dropped it down to 100 because it was kind of a ball ache, to be honest. And it rewards you with 8 tokens of strife. The sparks of life come from more than just defeating enemies, though. You can get them from open world PvP, beating rares, completing the world quests, and completing the airdrops that come down when you have war mode on. So as you're out in the open world, a package will fall from the sky, go collect it for your faction, and you get a big massive boost and you get some sparks of life. So that's it really. In summary, if you want to proper sweat it out and max and min-max everything, cap out your 550 Conquest to get your Conquest gear, get your 8 tokens of strife to upgrade your Drake gear each week, and do ranked PvP, preferably arena is probably the fastest, to get your tier Conquest gear. Make sure you fill your vault each week, and anything that you're lacking, fill it with honor gear. And then crafted I would leave as an optional side thing. Crafting gear also exists. The systems do seem a lot more complicated in Dragonflight, but it's never been easier to get into PvP. I think it's just in a really good place, and I hope you enjoy the grind as much as I'm enjoying it. If there is anything you want to add, let people know in the comments. If this video has helped, consider subscribing for more and join our MMORPG Discord down below to hang out with more degenerates. That's it, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.